Moving on. So the luxurious criminal was brought to court today, to public court. As you've heard, he testified not guilty, or he was asked how he pleads, and he pleads not guilty. Now, just the plea alone sets aside the fact that this person is possibly different than the person who was at the scene. Because as we saw in the pictures, the person who was at the scene and his side view looked quite different than this picture of the guy being paraded. It is possible that this guy was already in prison, or in whatever. This guy was already somehow in the books of performing certain crimes in the past. But the person who came and committed that act of killing those children was a different person, somewhat of an expert, because how much time did it take for somebody to accomplish something like that? It was a short while. He knew what to do. He knew what to say. He knew what to do to get those kids, you know, to lose their breath and all that stuff. So to me, it appears that that gentleman that came to perform that atrocity is not the same human being here. Looking at his hair, we talked about his hair being much, much more than the gentleman at the scene, and in a difference of 4 days. There is no African who grows hair like that and kaweke of that sort to catch up to that extent. He's there at he's brought to court today. He doesn't have any handcuffs. Even in the United States, when you've watched a movie of a criminal of such sorts who was killed, at least visibly caught killing somebody, you know, or even a suspect with very clear, even let's say we don't have very clear evidence that this person actually did it, but as long as they're in custody. Because if somebody is arrested here for, let's say a husband is dead or a wife is dead, and the prime suspect is one of the spouses, they will take that person and try to determine in a room of where they will interrogate that person to try to place them either at the crime scene or somewhat, so that they can say that this person may be a suspect. And if they are not anywhere at the crime scene or anything of that sort, they let you go. If you don't have any signs of having committed this crime, they let you go within a few hours. But if you are suspected to have committed the crime and your alibi does not match the scene of the crime or what happened, then they will take you in and hold you for further investigation, because you are a flight risk or you're a concern of harming somebody else. So they'll take you somewhere in custody and hold you in there until they deem you're innocent. Now, while being held, a criminal of such caliber, you are not free. In fact, you have a chain on your legs from one, I don't know if it's still a handcuff or a leg cuff, something like that. You either are in chains from your cuffs on the arms to the cuffs on your feet, and in between, or you are maintained in handcuffs for the duration of the time that you are exposed, especially being tried among other people. This is a public trial. If this man is as dangerous as they say he is, why doesn't he have a simple handcuff? A simple handcuff, just to protect the public that is around him. In fact, if he was such a dangerous man, he would not be brought to be tried in public. Because what if he does something else, okay? So I'm just trying to paint a picture where this man, whom they brought free, hands-free, no handcuffs, no chains. In fact, the police stood back away from him, the prison's guard. They stood a bit far from him. He was offered water to drink. Now, I've seen how prisoners are held or handled in Uganda, and it's not comparable to anywhere in the rest of the world, especially the Western world where I've seen this happen. If you are deemed some sort of criminal, which this man was caught red-handed, okay, they say the same man was caught red-handed and brought to the from the crime scene, caught right after killing those children. He is taken away by the police and prisons. He never loses, the police never lose touch or hold of him. Okay, it's not like he disappears and comes back, or they go and no. This is the same guy from the crime scene, taken to prison to be held, and then brought to public court. He's brought free, no handcuffs. He's given water to drink. He is dressed and has had at least 3 changes of clothes. We have seen 3 changes of clothes. Now, it's not unfair to compare this prisoner and call him luxurious, because compared to the way Noop, in fact, during the burial of Mrs. Edith Mufumbiro, okay, most of the people who were carrying the coffin, the ones wearing the Noop uniform, were abducted and taken away under the orders of Muhoozi and Salim Saleh, because they feel like every day that passes, they are demolishing Noop. But when things like this happen and bring people together, they're surprised that Noop is still a very, very strong party. It is strong and it will not go away. So anyways, those people were abducted. Those people who attended the funeral in uniform, in red uniform, and carried the coffin were all abducted. Some released shortly after, some not released. Another person that I understand is in grave torture is the lady who is, her nickname is Blue Tick. She, I understand, is undergoing severe torture. Now, this is someone who nobody has caught committing any crime, compared to this Onyum person that they're talking about, who killed 4 children. Miss Blue Tick has done nothing of any sorts. But watch for the day they'll bring her to court. She will have almost no life in her. Same thing compared to Eddie Mutwe, Achille Ochivumbi. The same things, the same look. Everyone that's taken away. The gentleman who is the book writer who was once imprisoned in Congo and then brought back and now is still in detention with under Muhoozi. You know, he's in the fridge, mentioned by the Kenyan brothers. You know, all of that compared to what this guy is going through, really, this guy is not a criminal, and in fact, these people committed the crime. Muhoozi, Salim Saleh, and the whole mafia crew are the ones who killed those children. Muhoozi seems to be trying hard to get into Ugandans' hearts, but clearly, to show you that these people are not brilliant at all, if he thinks by getting one of his M23 guys to come and kill those children and pin it on this guy and try him publicly will get him into Ugandans' hearts. First of all, we have lost human beings. We've lost children. That's very painful. Secondly, the way they're handling this man, it pains everyone's heart. It's an insult to every Ugandan. In fact, all of us should be insulted by how this prisoner, the so-called killer of the 4 children, is getting a slap on the wrist. This is not compared to how any other prisoners are handled. Mwanga Chivumbi the other day was brought to court. Even if they come in and go, Alex Waiswa Mfumbiro, Olivia Lutaya, you know, they come in with handcuffs. They are bundled. In fact, one person, there's always one person and another person together. I remember when Sanya was still in the military detention. Every time they brought them, they were attached to one other person. You know, this guy came free. He was escorted freely. He walked freely. He's wearing shoes. He's wearing all his clothes. He has a jacket on him. You know, I don't care if it's raining outside. Come with whatever you've got. You know, so all this is a sign of unfairness, and I feel like they're abusing Ugandans, because really what these people do is to try to see how far they can go. They probe and poke and see, you know, what are they going to do this time? I feel like this is the argument they have. They're like, let's see how, if Ugandans even have the nerve to do something about this their children dying, and this whole thing being fake. No matter whether this is a cover-up, a diversion, or whatever the case might be, this is sad for us Ugandans, because I think at some point we should have enough. We should have enough to deal with these people. First of all, that trial, nobody should have gone there. Why? Let them have their own mess, enjoy it, and go home. What we need to struggle for is to get our people out, and we must gain the strength to come up and do something about this. This is an insult. This that they're doing with this so-called Onyum killer person is an insult to Ugandans. They are poking you to see how much or what you can. So what? You know, let's do this and so what? They're not going to do anything. It is only going to get worse. We must figure out a way to cut these people short with their own games. Don't attend this nonsensical courts or whatever they're trying to do. Don't. Let's stay focused and push for what we want. We want our win, and we want our president where he should be.